Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey and I will be playing the Changeling Witch Kinlegelana.
Hey everybody, I am Lee Royal and I will be playing Nrobso, the Axe Artist Goblin.
I'm Christine, and I will be playing Laerke today.
That sounds like a very reasonable situation.
I'm just, I'm doing some stretching. That was a very vigorous run. A lot farther than I thought we were going to go. Yeah, you might want to give this thing some water, maybe some food. It's not gonna need any more mushrooms, right? Do we have more of those? Is like a recharge thing? How long does this last? And just out of curiosity, what happens? I don't know if say a goblin were to eat one of these mushrooms. Ah. Alright, just curious minds. Oh no, I wasn't asking. I think Leggies was wondering, very specifically. I think Leggies had mentioned what if a goblin would eat. It wasn't for me. Oh yes. It was just a conversation that we might have had with or without your presence. Yeah. Can I observe and like learn how he's handling the cat? Oh no. Oh well, let me tell you, everybody. He said some very like juicy information.
Okay, let's try this now. Okay,
Yes, it was
there we are.
completely critical.
I should be there now. I apologize, everybody.
Oh no.
Gotta love all the tech issues. So luckily, we've got the captioning there to hopefully help you all read along. So anyway,
It's also
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Keen.
sorry. It's also worth noting that because this is Thundercat, Kinlegelana has like set out her sleeping bag on the opposite side.
Okay, for sure, no worries. So, you've got Thundercat kind of tied up to these massive roots that are poking out of the soil, with Muriel situated on one side. There's plenty of space on the other side for Keen to lay out your sleeping bag as well. As you're kind of setting up, Muriel kind of offers the water flask over to you, as well as the bits of meat.
I will indeed take it and begin to feed and take care of Thundercat.
All right. You take the items from Muriel as he stands up, and you see him walk over towards Lysindra, and kind of helps her with her backpack and starts helping her set up her sleeping area as well. Actions from Laerke and Nrobso at this time.
Is anybody standing watch currently?
From what you can tell, no. Everybody's kind of busy just setting up their current sleeping areas.
Okay, I think Laerke will probably just take up like a point around the perimeter somewhere, probably facing wherever the most obvious pathway to the campsite might be, and just kind of like post up there, sit down on the ground, do something like, pull out a whetstone, sharpen a blade.
Laerke, let's at least take off Aggie from your back. Let's undo the straps. I think she fell asleep, you know.
Oh, I
Oh,
did. I forgot she was back there. It's like she's
oh,
part of my
she's,
body.
you're so strong. You're so strong. Let's sit her next to here. Kovan's also in this day. Let's just keep the old people together.
Bundled up and near the fire.
That's right.
All right, Laerke, you take some time to assist your elderly companions with setting up a nice little area near the campfire where they can rest easy and keep warm. Kovaan and Aggie, they kind of, you see the two of them open up their packs. Kovaan pulling out what appears to be some tea leaves in a large iron kettle, while Aggie goes into hers and starts pulling out some different herbs and bits of meat. And it looks like the two of them are getting ready to cook up some food for the group here. Laerke, as you climb up into the tree, trying to get a good vantage point to see kind of about you and where you would assume the most immediate threats may come from. Go ahead and give me a vigilant check, if you would. You're muted.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Excellent. Okay. As you climb up and you're kind of looking about, from what you can tell, where you're currently located in Davokar, there are no clear cut-out pathways anywhere around you. It is just a canopy of trees, and you can kind of just barely make out the footprints left by your grouping running through here. However, with that check, I will say you don't see any other sets of footprints that have come through this area whatsoever. But as you're up here and kind of sharpening your blade and kind of just looking about, you do also hear just this very slight fluttering very, very close to your ears. As you're kind of looking about, you don't see any birds or any other type of flying creatures nearby, but you just hear this continuous fluttering right next to you.
Am I able to like move? I'm in the tree, right?
Yeah, if you wanted to climb up, yep, you're currently in the tree.
Yeah, I'm gonna climb up a little higher and maybe even like rotate around to the other side of the tree as I'm climbing up. I'm like just looking around like really thoroughly to see if I can locate the source of that sound.
Okay, for sure. You continue climbing up. Give me another vigilance check, if you would.
No, 12 out of 10.
12 out of 10, okay. I will say that as you're climbing up, the fluttering sound itself does seem to subside the farther up you go. Nrobso, actions from you.
Leggies.
Hmm?
Can I feed Thundercat?
Oh, yes, of course. Of course. Would you also like to perhaps comb Thundercat?
Teach me the song to win over Thundercat's love.
I see. Very well. What do I have to roll to attempt to teach Nrobso the song in Elvish?
I will have Nrobso roll me a cunning check. You'll have a -2 to this, though, since you have Keen attempting to teach you the language that you have never once spoken a single word of.
But boy, oh boy, he said I subtract from this?
Subtract 2, yep.
I got a 2 out of 7.
2 out of 7 still. Excellent.
Yeah.
So as you're kind of sitting here trying to learn and pick up the words of Keen, luckily a lot of the language, a lot of the syllables that she speaks are not incredibly far off from the Goblin language, as they're both languages of Davokar itself. So while you don't quite get some of the full like inflections in certain places, you're picking up fairly quickly, to the point where you can sing this lullaby with like 80% accuracy.
So I take a big piece of meat and I sing the song to feed Thundercat. How does it respond?
Okay, you're taking this meat and you're singing the song in your little in your goblin tones.
Yeah.
Thundercat, its pupils kind of widen for a moment as it looks at you, almost puzzled. But it sees the large offering that you have for it, and it kind of just perks up. And are you holding on to the meat? Are you sliding it on the ground? How are you approaching?
It's like my hand is flipped this way, but I'm holding it like on the edge of the meat, so like the larger part is more towards Thundercat.
Okay. And Thundercat like kind of perks up and doesn't fully stand up, but definitely starts to sit up and just sniff towards the meat before you see this large tongue kind of just come drooping out of its mouth as it starts to kind of scoop up the meat with its tongue and try to pull the entire piece into its mouth at one time.
And how is it responding to my presence?
as it takes the piece of meat in and starts chewing down on it, it's just kind of looking at you, still slightly puzzled. However, it's not reeling back, not like trying to attack you like it was before. You almost get the sense that now that it's a bit more out in the open and back into its own home, you can see that its temperament has definitely gone down quite a bit. It's still alert, but significantly more chill compared to when you would try to force it into a hole.
Nrobso, can I give you a tip?
Yeah.
So with any type of cat, even big cats, there are certain ways they like to be communicated with. So don't deadpan stare into its eyes, but instead do this thing with your eyes where you like slightly close them. It's like a cat smile.
Am I doing it?
You're getting there, yes. Mm-hmm.
And then I put my hand palm down in attempts, you know when cats do that natural thing where they're just like, ooh, a palm.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
And Thundercat kind of stands and just kind of sniffs your hand a little bit. It doesn't like go on fully to start rubbing its face on your hand. It's just kind of looking at you like, what do you want now?
Step 1. Hand within at least 2 feet. Mission accomplished. And I dust my hands off and I go about my time.
All right.
What is step 2?
Step 2 is for Nrobso to know. I have many plans with Thundercat.
Do you?
Yeah, imagine a world where Nrobso and Thundercat ride into battle in the blaze of glory.
Nrobso,
Yeah,
if this cat was injured from riding into battle with you,
yeah.
I would never emotionally recover from that. I don't want you injured either, but...
Well, I believe in the capability of Thundercat. Thundercat is strong. Thundercat's on the prowl. Thundercat is loose.
Absolutely.
Thundercat.
Absolutely. And Thundercat is also a big, giant baby.
Well, don't tell Thundercat that. I see Thundercat as a majestic animal, worthy of any battle it should feel it's worthy of.
I feel like Kinlegelana like deadpan stares into Nrobso's face while still doing that, like pulls up the little container of water, like lightly dusts it on like a comb and starts brushing Thundercat like a mother like would like groom a kitten.
And as you're sitting there grooming Nrobso, you can see the look on Thundercat's face. Like, it's not really enjoying what's happening, but it's kind of just accepted it. Like, all right, this is my life. I can't go far.
Speaking of which, in Nrobso's eyes, just for context for everyone, Thundercat is basically Entei from Pokemon. That's what Nrobso sees.
I love it. And Keen, you continue on brushing through your Maricat companion. And it's at this point that you see Miorel kind of walking over in your direction, carrying what appear to be just a couple of simple wooden bowls with some spoons in them, as he offers one over to you, Keen, and one over to you, Nrobso. He just says, we should eat, keep up our energy. Who knows how much further it's going to be.
No, what is this?
It's just a simple stew. So lovingly cooked by your companions, gesturing over to Kovaan and Agithe, who are both tending to these large iron kettles that are currently situated over an open fire.
I want to smell it just in case. He doesn't. No, not out loud. Just the Nrobso thinking eternally. I smell it to see if I could maybe get a hint of any type of sleeping powder, poison, anything that might make him unconscious.
Sure, give me a vigilance check here if you would, Nrobso.
6 for 12.
6 for 12. You do not get any type of hints outside of just a simple meat stew. I will say too, in this time, you have only seen Agithe and Kovaan tending to the food. Miorel has kind of been off helping Lysindra set up her area.
Then I look Miorel right in the eyes, and I just take a scoop. I don't swallow yet. I kind of swish it around in my mouth. Let this flavor really soak in. And then one big gulp, while just like dead right in his eyes.
And Miorel almost looks a little bit disturbed at seeing this goblin just stare him down while swishing soup in his mouth. And he kind of starts to walk away and just kind of looks up and just... Wasn't there another with you? The tall one?
Oh, yes. Laerke is our watcher, our protector.
Oh, I see. Where did she go?
Well, we do not trust environments so quickly. Where Laerke is Laerke's position.
Oh, I suppose that's fair. And he just kind of just shouts, Laerke, if you're hungry, there's stew. I suggest you get a bowl.
Did I ever find my flutterings?
As you're situated up here, you still do not hear any type of fluttering.
And if I move further down the tree, does the fluttering increase?
As you kind of start heading back towards the branch that you were originally on, you do hear that fluttering again.
If I go further down the tree, do I still hear the fluttering?
You continue moving down, and you can very faintly hear it towards the bottom of the tree.
All right, I'm gonna go down and join everyone and eat, and then afterwards I'm gonna come back up and keep looking for that with my new knowledge.
No worries. So food is had. Miorel and Lysindra both lay down for rest. Nrobso or Keen, anything specific the two of you would like to do before taking in some rest as well?
Oh, I'm up in the tree. After finishing up.
Okay.
Yeah. I swiftly axe artist my way just to keep Laerke company.
All right, you join Laerke up in the tree, hanging out on the same branch, or maybe you're one up high and just you're nearby each other though, keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, we're nearby.
Okay.
At least like 5 to 10 feet.
Okay, perfect. And Keen, anything from you?
I feel like I'm still with Thundercat, just kind of hanging out. And I might have a little bit of a conversation with Morel. Like if he's around me, I'm probably gonna say something to him. Is he around me?
Oh yeah, I mean you're both of you have your sleeping pads situated on either side of Thundercat, and he has made his way over to his, where he looks like he's currently getting ready to settle in.
So tell me, the sort of rituals done to Thundercat, are those reversible, or will this always be Thundercat's life?
No. the young cat is welcome to live its life. Once it guides us to where we need to go, we can set it free, and it can move on. The mushrooms that are used will have no long-term ill effects on the creature.
Very well. Well, as much as I love Thundercat, that will be Thundercat's choice at the end of the road.
And Muriel just kind of looks towards you, and he just kind of places a hand on kind of the scruff of Thundercat, just gives it a couple little scritches. I suggest we all get some rest. I feel like it's going to be a long journey ahead of us tomorrow. And he lays down. Up in the trees, Laerke and Nrobso, give me some vigilance checks, please, if you would.
12 for 12.
Okay.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10, okay. Excellent. And Keen, are you staying up or are you going to sleep?
I feel like Keen more than ever knows with how much energy we're using, it's important to sleep. But I feel like her guard is up a little bit.
Okay, for sure.
As she's kind of getting ready for bed.
Okay, no worries. Up in the trees, Nrobso and Laerke, you can see that Kovaan, Agithe, Lysindra, and Muriel have all completely passed out at this point, as a few hours go by after dinner. As you're sitting up here, though, you do both begin to hear that fluttering once more. And as you're kind of looking about, you almost see this super faint, almost like a light blue ocean aura, just in these little globes of light, just slowly start to appear around you. You see about 4 of them currently just kind of dancing probably about 10 or so feet in front of you, as they're almost just circling each other in patterns.
Oh. Laerke, you see this?
Yeah. Did you check the soup?
Oh, no, yeah, no, I thoroughly checked the soup. I sniffed it, I smelled it, I gargled it. It was good soup.
Alright, well, go touch it.
You want me to go touch that?
Go touch it, yeah. It's like you're smaller, you can move through the trees faster.
I don't know what it is.
Well, it's never stopped you before.
No. Leggy specifically says if there's something that you don't know, don't touch it. But I will, however, get close enough to make out this blue cloud thing. It almost looks like 1,000 butterflies.
Or fireflies, and those be poisonous.
Oh.
So...
Wait, are they really?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be bit by like a million of them at the same time, but yeah.
Alright, let me put my gloves on.
Alright, Nrobso, you're approaching one of these small dancing globes in front of you. And as you approach, these things that are only about like the size of like a tennis ball. They're not massive. They're just these little faint blue auras that you see just circling each other in a pattern, with just this very faint fluttering sound as well. Nrobso, as you approach, you almost get the sense of like a bit of a sweetness wafting through the air. Almost like a mixture of like cinnamon and vanilla as you start to approach these floating globes in front of you.
Hey, Laerke, for a 4'2" goblin, these things are huge.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, those are probably like the size of a freaking like plate to a goblin. The size of a tennis ball.
I'm gonna
touch
it.
I'm gonna get my my pick out. I'm gonna get ready to throw it.
But don't tell Leggies. Please don't tell Leggies.
Come on, man. Do I
No,
have
don't
to
tell her.
leggies?
Dude, don't tell her.
Nah, they're
Okay.
fine.
So
We're the worst.
Nrobso reaching out and poking this globule of light. Your finger makes connection with something in the center of the globe as you hear almost like this high-pitched, almost childlike laughter as you poke it and the globe kind of floats away from you. And as it's floating away, the other one kind of comes in closer and starts circling around your head.
Oh. I don't know if I fully like this, Laerke.
I'll move closer to Nrobso and like not like hard, but just like kind of like you would like if you were to like shoo a butterfly, right? Like do this at it.
All right, and you see the
Around
little
his head.
globes. They both kind of like float
Very
away,
gently.
and then they try to get closer to you, Laerke, almost trying to like float right in front of your face, almost like there's something looking at you.
Oh. Can I'm just gonna be like look at it a little, like see if I can make anything out in the light, I guess.
From what you can tell, there really isn't much that you can see as far as like a specific form. However, as you're looking, the fluttering gets a little bit louder, and you do almost see like flashes of what almost look to be like little translucent wings in the center of these little lights.
I guess I'll hold my hand out like this.
Okay, you hold your hand out, and one of the little globes comes and lands in your hand. And as it lands, there's a little bit of a weight that you can feel. And there's definitely something sitting there in your hand.
This is cool. Look at this. I'm gonna show it to Nrobso.
And I get extremely close. Wow.
Pretty neat.
Can I tell if it's a body? Is that his wings?
You can see the translucent wings just kind of flashing in and out from the little aura that it gives off.
Wow, it's almost like a fairy tale creature.
Hey, watch this. Who am I? Who am I? Hey, listen.
Ah, I love this story.
And as this is happening, Keen, give me a vigilance check if you would. Because you're slightly asleep, I'm going to give you just a +1 to this roll.
Okay. Okay, so I forgot to open my character sheet. Smart. I'm sorry, you said vigilance?
Vigilance check, yep, with a +1.
Vigilance. Okay. Well, that is a 16 out of 8 then.
Oof, okay.
All right.
Great. No, I'm doing good.
All right.
Oh, good. We can keep goofing off.
I'm very relaxed.
Keen, you're in very much a deep sleep. Nrobso and Laerke, give me another batch of vigilance checks from up here, if you would, please.
Bad.
Okay.
Hold on, having difficulties. 4 out of 12.
4 out of 12, excellent. Okay, so Nrobso, as you see Laerke kind of playing with this little globule of light, out of the corner of your eye, you see more of these little auras beginning to appear down toward where Keen is currently asleep. And if you glance in that direction, you can see these little globules are kind of floating around where Thundercat is at. Thundercat's like kind of like looking up and looking at these things as they're floating by. And you can see just in the faint aura that their light's giving off, it looks like there's something tugging at the leash of Thundercat.
Oh no.
Almost like these little globs are trying to pull this leash.
Is Thundercat threatened? Like, you know how cats' hairs do the little stand-uppy thingy?
Mm-hmm. Thundercat doesn't look to be on edge, but it's very puzzled, and it's just kind of like looking back at its leash that's kind of being tugged ever so lightly by these little globes of light.
Larry, we're gonna have to finish the Legend of Link later. Legis would be super mad if anything happened to Thundercat. I gotta go. And like I jump down, but like I stab my axe in the tree, like not deep, but just like deep enough to where it's like like it's just
Oh.
a slide basically.
For sure.
And I get over to Thundercat. I'm just like, shoo, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here.
All right, and you go and you start shooing these little lights away, and two of them take off very quickly. One of them that's kind of pulling on the leash stops, and it's at this point that you can almost see a small form of what looks to be a little humanoid with these translucent wings, this very deep blue skin, wearing just some like almost looks to be leaves that they have sewn together as clothing. And you realize that you're looking at a small fairy that is currently tugging at the leash of Thundercat. As it sees you, its little eyes go wide, and it vanishes, and the little globe of light just dissipates. And all the ones up around you, Laerke, also dissipate.
Oh, okay, bye, buddy.
Well, yeah, that was a very unexpected. Hey, Laerke, should we wake them?
Is he yelling this at Laerke?
Yeah, just yelling it super loud. Should we wake them?
And Keen, at this point, you very much hear the echoing voice of Nrobso just yelling, "Should we wake them?"
So I bolt up. What did you touch?
Well, I didn't touch Thundercat, if that's what you're asking.
What do you mean? What do you mean you didn't?
Why did
What?
you bring up Thundercat?
There was things. You know what? We should really ask Murel. He's familiar with the halls of the teardrops and waterfalls and rainbows. He mentioned nothing of the creatures that are in the Davokar forest, though. I guess I myself should be familiar
With some of them, maybe not these ones.
And then I go internally and I ask, am I familiar with these creatures being...
You have not encountered these before.
Ow.
Your gut is telling you, like, maybe, but nah, probably not.
Alright, well, Leggies, in the interest of transparency, since Morel says to tell the full story of everything and we're all in this circle of trust and secrecy, there was a blue fairy.
A blue fairy.
Yeah, but not like the one from the Legend of Link. It was strictly just a blue fairy wearing a green attire that disappeared.
There was a lot of them. There was a lot of them, and they were trying to steal your cat.
Yeah, they were trying. Yeah. I stopped them. I protected Thundercat.
Yeah.
Miro kind of stands
Would I
up.
know anything about that?
Give me a cunning check, if you would, Keen.
Okay. That is. Do I still get a +1?
No, that's just a straight check for you.
Okay. Well, I got an 8 out of 7, so it's still not good enough.
All right. Unfortunately, you're not entirely familiar with these creatures. However, Muriel does kind of sit up. You know, looks at you, Nrobso. There's no mention of rainbows in the halls. Anyway.
Oh, so you don't deny the blue fairies, huh?
Well, it's not surprising that the fairies would be coming out. We are in their territory after all. And he kind of looks
very
up.
surprising to us.
He kind of looks up, and as he's looking up, he kind of points. And anybody who looks up can see high up, just almost touching the canopy of the trees, these little blue humanoids giving off just this light aura, as they're all kind of just sitting on the branches, swinging their legs back and forth, just looking down at you all.
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah. They're known for wanting the creatures of these lands to be free. They almost act as protectors. So I would only think that seeing your cat leashed up Well, we're not endangering it, I promise. As he's just kind of yelling up towards the canopy.
So, these are good fairies.
Well,
Oh, to
I
be
feel
honest,
like good is stretching it. They're just good in the interest of Davokar, I suppose.
that's a good way of looking at it. I mean, they're not powerful creatures, so they know they wouldn't win in a fight, unfortunately. But they do, again, just act as guardians and watchers. But he kind of looks around. I suppose we probably should start moving again soon anyway.
Yeah, because they were trying to take Thundercat, and if anybody falls asleep again, it might just happen.
Oh, that's fair. Perhaps we should move out of their territory and continue along.
Did you two get any sleep?
Yeah, here and there. I
Yeah.
did 10 minutes.
I mean,
Laerke did 10 minutes.
we took turns, yeah.
Very well.
Very considerate of you asking. We appreciate the concern.
And Muriel gets up and starts packing up his gear, assisting everybody else with packing up the rest of the camp. He goes over to Anadia's pouch, pulling out that small vial once again. Is there anything else you would specifically like to do in this area, or are you prepared to move on?
Let's
Okay.
get it rolling.
All right.
All right, upsy daisies, everybody. Come here, Aggie. Let's tie you up onto Laerke's shoulders. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm 4'2".
Laerke assisting with carrying the elderly folk. Do you all rope yourselves together once more as well?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Same order with Nrobso leading the charge. Okay. Muriel goes over, uncorking the vial, and once again offering it to Thundercat. And you see Thundercat's eyes once again widen, the pupils change. There's almost a bit of an aura to Thundercat's eyes, and you see its nose just immediately once again hit the ground and take off, weaving once more through the forest. You continue on for several hours, not following any specific direction. Again, you think you're heading north, then it immediately cuts east, west, south, back up to the north. Just almost, it feels like you're constantly moving in a circle. However, you can tell that the trees around you are continuing to change. And it gets to a point where, as you're running through, Thundercat just starts continuing on as fast as it can, just in a straight line. And as it's moving through, you can start to see that the leaves on the trees in this area begin to change color. As you're spending most of your time in almost like this muted greens and grays, the leaves start to become this vibrant, beautiful burgundy and gold. And as you're continuing through this pathway, you can see the leaves themselves start to fall and litter the pathway before you. As Thundercat is just nose down, barreling straight forward, it leads you to this large clearing. And you can see that while you're still surrounded by the Davokar woods, there's smaller trees that are growing in this area. And all of these trees look very different from the rest of the woods, in that these ones almost have like fluffier looking tops, and the same beautiful red and gold leaves growing on all of these. And as you look at the ground, there is no more soil or grass. It is just entirely covered by all of these leaves. And you see Thundercat with its nose down just start pulling almost slightly more violently in Nrobso, like it is trying to get you to just let it go right now.
Muriel, it's getting... Should I cut it?
And Muriel just kind of looks towards you and... Yes. We're here.
Yeah, take out... Oh, leggies, I'm gonna cut the leash.
Wait, can I do it?
Well, uncut your leash, and then you come up here, and then you cut the leash, because it's getting really, really tight.
So I'm gonna go up there, and also, instead of like cutting the leash, I'm actually taking the collar off.
Okay.
And the whole time I'm just speaking to Thundercat gently in Elvish and just saying, "You can always come find us if you want to see us.
And as you
But the
approach,
choice is yours."
you see Thundercat is almost like up on its hind legs, just trying to pull away. You go over and you take the collar off, and Thundercat darts directly towards the center of where all these trees are circling. And you see Thundercat just start digging into the leaves and almost just start like walking in circles around it. You can see the hair on its back is starting to stand up as it is just letting out these massive wails. Not that like it's in pain, but like it wants the attention drawn to this spot in particular. And as it's circling, you see Thundercat just sit in the center of these leaves. And Mirel looks towards all of you. Well, it looks like Thundercat has found our pathway. And Mirel walks and just positions himself on one side of Thundercat, with Lysindra following and positioning herself on the opposite side. And Mirel just kind of looks towards you all and says, "Please join us."
In a circle?
Yes, as close as we can all tighten ourselves around your cat.
I see. And I will go over.
Okay, you walk over. Laerke and Nrobso.
I'll help the others get over there as well.
Okay. And you all sit there, and you see Thundercat just kind of sitting there, and it looks up, and his eyes almost begin to glow with the same beautiful golds and burgundies matching the leaves, just laying out this beautiful aura. And as it's wailing, you begin to hear the wind pick up as the trees around you begin to blow. And it's odd as it's not the trees of Davokar that are moving, it is just the trees with the colorful leaves begin to shift. As you hear the wails of Thundercat almost disappear into the sound of just this breeze that has completely taken over you. You see the leaves on the ground about you begin to circle your entire group entirely, almost making just this stunning burgundy and gold tornado that you are all completely in the center of at this time. And you're all overcome by just this loud pitch of this violent breeze shaking throughout the area. It goes on for several minutes before it all starts to settle. The breeze dissipates, the leaves slowly fall back onto the ground around you. Thundercat closes its eyes, and when it reopens them, they're back to just its normal beast eyes as it sits there. And you all find yourself in what almost looks to be this simple stone corridor. And as you look up, you see just nothing but these natural stone walls around you. You can see that at the top of the walls will look to be the trees of Davokar. And you look, and you're almost in like this little U shape with this one tunnel almost funneling down in one direction before you all.
Laerke will just start walking forward.
Okay. You begin heading down the funnel, and you can see that the soil beneath your feet almost starts to turn into what looks to be like a large stone pathway that's been purposefully put here. And you start walking down this funnel. Do the rest of you follow? Okay. You continue on for a good 60 or so feet before at the end of the tunnel you can see some of the roots and vines from the trees up above have started to kind of crawl down the stone walls around you, almost making just this massive vine curtain that just sits in front of you.
Well,
It's like a dead end.
Correct, but what you see at the directly in front of you at the end of this hallway would appear to just be these massive roots that are currently dangling down that you could easily grab onto and push aside if you wanted to.
I'm gonna let the little axe goblin
Yeah.
help with that.
Okay.
Like, are they sturdy vines because they've been here for a while, or are they just dangling vines?
They're just dangling there to where it doesn't seem like it would take much force to push them to the side.
Oh, okay. Duly noted, because I almost pulled out my super move. But I do take out my axes and I kind of push those through first to kind of open.
Okay.
Oh, how dark is it?
As you push open, you see it almost opens up into another large, almost like open grove. You can hear what sounds to be water rushing coming from that side. And as you look through, there is quite a bit of what looks to be natural light breaking through and illuminating this area.
And has Thundercat fully calmed down, or is it still power moving through anything?
No, Thundercat at this point is completely calm. As you're kind of pushing the vines aside, you actually feel it kind of rub up on your leg as it kind of walks by you and just continues forward beyond the vines.
Step 2, physical contact completed.
What's step 3?
For Nrobso's soul to know.
So is it just a hug then?
Perhaps, or the label of friendship at least, as he walks through.
Alright, you step through. Muriel follows as well. Do the rest of you follow through? Okay, excellent. And when we get back from our break, I will let you all know what it is that you see on the other side. Thank you all so much. Raiders, hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Super appreciate y'all. We will see you all back here in about 10-15 minutes or so. So hydrate, stretch, do all that good stuff. We'll see you back here soon. Stick around. And welcome back, everybody. So, as you are pulling back this vine curtain, Thundercat just kind of sneaking on by you, Nrobso, you are met by another hallway. This one's significantly larger, probably about 20 or so feet wide, and probably about another 60 or so feet deep. As you enter in, you can notice that there are these long pieces of what look to be algae kind of hanging from the ceiling and almost working their way through the stone walls like veins. And as you're looking at these, they're giving off this bit of arcane light that looks very similar to natural sunlight. and almost produces a bit of a warming feeling. As you're looking into this room, it's almost like you're hit with a sense of comfort. And as you look through, you can see that on the left-hand side of the next hallway, there appear to be two more large openings with very similar vine curtains. Over on the right-hand side, you see three more doorways with the same vines dangling down. Looking towards the back of the hallway directly in front of you, though, you see what appears to be two large archways that currently have iron gates that are currently shut. And situated between yourselves and those gates, you see three individuals. Two humanoid figures standing to either side of one larger individual. The two humanoid-looking ones are wearing just these deep, dark brown robes with the hoods currently pulled up to where their faces are completely obscured. You can't make out any type of features on them. The individual in the center appears to be sitting on like this small stone podium, kind of sitting with their legs crossed, almost in like a meditative stance. This individual is wearing almost this like ethereal, translucent white robe that is completely clean of any type of dirt or debris. Their skin almost matching that same whiteness. It is just this very pale, bright color. As you look up, you can see that their features on their face very, very angular, similar to that of Keen's almost. The ears themselves come to a very prominent point, and they have just this long, stringy, like stark white hair hanging down to their shoulders. As you kind of enter in, you can see that their eyes meet yours as you pull the curtains back. However, their eyes are completely featureless, just stark white. And as you push through, you see the two figures that are standing behind to either side. You see the hoods kind of go down almost like they're nodding in your direction. And as you enter through, you hear a voice boom out coming from the large ethereal individual. And it just says, "What has brought you here?" And as it says this, Keen, you are the only one to understand this, as it is spoken in Elvish.
We have come here seeking answers, and we had found a letter suggesting that an acquaintance of ours may have been supposed to come here to settle business.
And the ethereal figure almost perks up his posture a bit. And from what you can tell, this figure, even though he's currently sitting on the ground, is massive. You would estimate probably 13 to 14 feet tall if you were to stand up. And he just looks towards you, Keen. He says, "Who? A name."
We had known someone named Anadia, and someone named Tierra Tiana had written her a note saying that this was the meeting place where they were supposed to come and that Anadia was needed.
And you see he just raises one hand up and just almost like just a pause. As he stands, you can see, that this gentleman is indeed probably closer to 15 feet, very lanky, as he just stands and looks down towards you all. And he just says, "Wait, I will fetch her." And you see him as he turns, and he reaches into his robes and produces a key, unlocking the large iron gates on the right-hand side as he pushes through them. And he steps through and turns around and closes the gate behind him and disappears into the darkness. The two hooded figures are both just standing there, neither of them moving. Their hands are currently just positioned in front of their bodies. As you can look, and you can see they're still facing you, but not making any type of movement or any type of sound.
Just so you guys know, I believe he might be going to fetch either Tierra Tiana. I mean, he can't fetch an audio, right? But he wants us to wait while he goes to fetch someone.
Okay, that sounds fine. I don't really know. I don't particularly know what's happening. Do you?
Are you talking to me or Nrobso?
I'm talking to you. Anybody, I guess. We're
Well,
just.
Rouse wouldn't know anything. I'm just as confused as you are, Laerke.
I believe that this person, this overseer of some kind, is in charge and is going to fetch Tierra Tiana, which is the being who wrote that note for Anadia saying to meet here and that she was needed.
And
Okay.
Mirel kind of steps through. Yes, that individual is Ka Iroan. He has watched this place for many centuries.
You said Kai E. Rowan.
Ka Iroan, yes. One of the few elves who has survived a great slumber. I personally don't know the details of what has transpired, but I know that he is one of the remaining survivors, one of the very few. An elf who has almost become a master of living an eternal life. And he watches this place. I suggest we be as respectful as possible.
Indeed.
He's really tall.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
May I ask a question, Morel?
Certainly.
Does he see with his eyes?
I'm not certain what his visual prowess is like, whether he sees us as we are or if he sees through us. It would be unsurprising to me if he's able to see corruption in its most raw form.
I see.
And Mirel kind of gestures towards the vines that are hanging over the doorways. As a matter of fact, these plants, as he kind of reaches up, they can also read and see the corruption.
They can do what exactly?
And as he kind of holds his hand up, you see the vines almost take on like a greenish aura to them. They can feel our energy.
I see.
I put my hand towards the vines.
You reach your hand up. Nrobso, what would your shadow look like for us? Your shadow is essentially an invisible aura that certain people and individuals can see. It can be a solid color, it can be like a translucent color, it can be a mixture of colors, but what would your shadow look like? The physical energy that emanates from Nrobso.
It's a, if I remember correctly when we wrote it down, it's the forest green, except like when you do see it, it's very chaotic, and it constantly shimmers about.
And as Mirel pulls his hand away and Nrobso, you reach yours up, it's a very similar shade of green that Mirel carries, but as you said, almost where the edges of Mirel's were very pristine. Nrobso's, the edge to your shadow almost becomes sharpened and juts out in places. And you can see that emanating from the vines as Nrobso reaches up towards them.
See that, Mirel? That's just the characteristics of how strong I am. It's just all over the place.
Muriel just kind
Your aura is beautiful, Nrobso.
Muriel, don't trust her when she gives me compliments.
Why? She seems like a lovely person.
Because in our travels, she's never done it before.
Really? She seems to have been quite complimentary on our entire journey here over the past couple days.
Nrobso is just not used to receiving compliments.
Oh, you're quite
They say flattery gets you everywhere. A warrior such as myself doesn't need compliments.
No, but a warrior such as yourself can still be given compliments. I mean, from what I saw, you seem like quite the capable guide, as it was you who was following our beloved Thundercat through the woods. Keeping on the trail, it seems like you're quite skilled when it comes to navigation and survival.
Compliments in my actions alone is the only compliments Nrobso receives, but compliments for just standing here doing nothing makes me question if Leggies is really Leggies. We have yet to prove it, but she hasn't forsaken me just yet.
I see. Have you come across people who aren't themselves?
Well, not entirely, but it all started when Leggies proclaimed that the tank was missing, and Nrobso had to show how strong Nrobso is. And all of a sudden, compliments started to come my way.
I see. Well, I don't think that was Leggies meaning to insult you. I think that Leggies seems like a forgetful individual, and I think Leggies may have just forgot that you are indeed a capable warrior and a tank, as you call yourself.
This has yet to be proven. But I will trust this version of Leggies for now.
Well, until this version gives us reason not to, I think that's probably a smarter move. And you see Muriel just kind of go off to one of the sides and just kind of lean up against one of the walls. And Lysindra walks in as well. She's just kind of looking about. And you see almost a look of sternness on her face as she's entering through. Whereas Muriel is significantly more calm, Lysindra, not fully on edge, but is definitely more alert as she enters in. Laerke, is there anything you would like to do at this time?
I think Laerke is kind of just observing because I think I first would look to see if there were any other possible exits from the room we're in.
Gotcha. As you're in this room, you only see the 2 iron gateways on the back, and you do see 5 other openings jutting out from this area. 3 on the right, 2 on the left, each covered by those vines. What is beyond those vines, though, you can't quite tell.
Okay, that's what I figured. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that she's just observing and she's holding on to Agithe really tightly in case they need to make a run for it. Because she doesn't know what's about to happen or what's going on, really.
Totally fair. As you're all waiting here, the wait itself is a couple hours as you're sitting in this room. You see Muriel and Lysindra as they both kind of just almost sit in like a meditative position near the doorway that you had come in through. And they each kind of close their eyes and are just patiently sitting there. As the minutes tick away, you eventually hear a shuffle coming from deeper within. And you see the iron gates once again pull open. As you see the visage of the 15-foot eternal elf come walking through. And followed behind, you see another individual. This one standing probably only about 5 foot tall. Very thin build, wearing similar brown robes to the two hooded individuals who, in all this time, have not once moved, have stood entirely still on either side of the elf's podium. This woman comes through, her skin very pale, almost matching that of Ka Iroan, and her eyes almost just pure jet black. You can see that she too has very, very thin, fine blonde hair hanging down just past her shoulders. And you see the familiar, prominent, pointed ears poking through as she steps through. It just looks towards you all. You asked for a meeting with me?
Yes, if we could.
Very well. And as she starts to approach, you see her kind of stop and almost glare in the direction of Lysindra. And she pauses for a moment. And she looks towards you, Keen. And just gestures for you to come closer.
I will do so, timidly.
Alright, you approach. And she looks towards you in a very hushed elvish. Are you a companion to that one?
She helped us find our way here.
Do you line with her values?
I don't know her very well, so I don't know to which values perhaps you're suggesting or referring to.
And she just kind of looks towards you. I will speak to you in your group, but not in this room. And she kind of gestures back towards the direction you came. Out there.
Very well.
On the condition
She will speak.
that they, pointing towards Lysindra and Miro, stay here.
Very well, let me speak to them, if you would be so kind.
And the woman just kind of nods and backs away for a moment.
So I'm going to go back over to the group and kind of like gesture for all of them to like be around me, including those two. Tiara Tiana is willing to have an audience with us out there, but she doesn't want Mirel and Lysindra to be a part of that audience.
Why is that?
I'm not fully sure. All she asked me was if I shared values, and I'm not completely sure which values.
Right now, are we in just the group of us core members, or are we talking out loud to the whole room?
I think I tried to get you guys aside, but I don't know how the room works.
There's enough space to where you could get your group between Tiara as well as Lysindra, to where if you're speaking in hushed tones, you can probably get away with speaking quietly to your own group, if you wish.
I'll just go over to the elves and be like, hey, listen, you got some history with this, I'm gonna talk to Lysandra. You got some history with this woman that we need to know about before we go into this potentially dangerous situation?
And Lysandra kind of looks towards you. Well, I can assure you there is no dangerous situation to be had here. I do not plan on hurting anybody, but... And she kind of looks towards Tiara. You really will not speak to me, huh? And Tiara just kind of flinches and looks back towards her. No. And she looks back towards Kairon. Says, can we at least have those two escorted somewhere else so that I can speak to the others? And Ka just kind of looks and snaps his fingers. And from the archway, from one of the archways to the left-hand side, you see the vines pull open. And you see 15 elves come marching out. These elves, dressed almost next to nothing, just wearing some simple coverings over their legs, each of them carrying these large spears as they walk through. And they kind of look towards Muriel and Lysandra. You two may wait here. And Lysandra and Muriel kind of look towards each other and look towards the grouping. And they both stand up. And the 15 elves kind of surround them and almost force them into this other room.
Okay.
I'll make eye contact with Mirelle as it's happening to just like kind of do like a sort of gesture that we're not going to leave without them.
And Muriel just kind of looks towards you and just like a little bit of a shrug, and he's just like, I'll just go with whatever for right now. And
Right, very well.
they're escorted out, and Tiara approaches your group once more.
Tiara, may I ask, and the answer is fine if it's no, would you be willing to speak the common tongue of the whole party?
She looks towards you and towards everybody. If it's
Hello.
easier that way, then yes. Hello. And she waves towards you, Nrobso.
Thank you.
And I apologize for those two. It's just... While they do line themselves with the pact, it is their aggression that I do not trust. For I know Lysandra would rather see the Ambrians who disagree slaughtered. And it is my concern that it is those kinds of actions that will draw more Ambrians to Davokar and more Ambrians to destroy our home.
I understand.
So that is why I would rather speak with you all on these more sensitive matters. Ka has told me that you found messages from Anadia.
Yes, specifically we found your message to Anadia. The one where you said that you would give her this only one offer. If she declined, she would have to mourn alone. Otherwise, if she accepted, she would meet you here, and that she was needed.
She was very much needed in this time. From your tone, I can only assume that she has passed.
Yes, we found the note on her person. She died in the sinkhole, if you're aware of the sinkhole situation in Thistlehold.
It's not surprising. I had heard a rumor that the alarm had sounded, but after not hearing from Anadia, I couldn't be certain. And what is it that you wish to accomplish here?
We were hoping to find answers. We didn't really know what Anadia's quest was, and Anadia had previously employed us to help her solve the problem with the sinkhole before it happened. And we're essentially trying to find more answers about Davokar, more answers about whatever is waking up underneath Thistlehold, and what sort of way Anadia was supposed to be helping and what she was supposed to be doing here.
And Tiara looks towards you and... well... Anadia was a strange young one. I know that she had been involved with the Sun Temple, but it seemed her values didn't quite align. And when I had heard about this, I sought her out myself, as she seemed quite capable. There seems to be a group who took out one of my previous contacts in Thistlehold, and I was having Anadia investigate it for me. I had given her a small stone to keep in communication. And if I recall correctly, the last message I got was not from Anadia, but from another woman. And Aggie kind of perks up and acknowledges that that was indeed her speaking. So it was your group indeed that found poor Anadia. Well, Anadia was picking up where my last contact had failed. There was a group of Ambrians who had come to Davokar. They had spent much time searching and were successful in finding one of the old gods, his physical body within the forests. And they captured him. It would seem they tortured him, butchered his body, removing his head and taking his skull. Anadia was following the skull for me. And it would seem that they are taking the skull to whatever lies below the hold, to use whatever powers are down there to infuse the skull to do with whatever it is they will do with. Unleashing a corrupted god upon this world could be devastating, especially if they have found a way to control it. I did receive one final report from Anadia several days ago. I'm assuming shortly before her passing. But it says, believe I had found the cultists. The leader is a man named Erliber, an antique dealer. They keep to the old tannery. I'll strike later today. And I can only assume that that day was the same day the sinkhole opened and the alarm went off. Perhaps the skull and Thistlehold. Perhaps the god is the one who sounded the alarm as a final cry for help.
me see. May I ask this god, what was it called and what was its purpose? What was it the god of?
His name was Eox. He liked to take the form of a large horned creature, sometimes that of a goat, a moose. But he would wander the forests, protecting these lands from the fortune hunters who would come through. While he would let most of them go, those who got closer to some of the more sensitive artifacts of Symbaroum, those were the ones when he would become concerned, and he would fight to protect. Now that he is out of the way, it opens the pathway for more fortune hunters to come through and more easily access the ancient artifacts of the past.
See.
Now I ask you, what will you do? Will you fight in Anadia's stead? Or will you let this continue on?
I'm gonna look at my party. I would say we would stop this, but I don't want to speak for everyone.
Well, you know where my mind goes. I specifically remember Anadia saying we would be paid $50 a day, specifically to do the task that she is asking for help. Is that still the deal here? Yeah, very, very serious stuff. Very serious stuff across the board. I just want to make sure that we are paid for our services.
And Tiara kind of looks towards you all. If you agree to put an end and to return Eox to his proper home, I can ensure that you are rewarded greatly. If you wish it to be coin, I have none, but I do have other metals and gemstones that I can give you that are far more valuable that you can sell for a very, very nice price. And she kind of looks towards Keen and Laerke and Aggie and Kovaan. If you're less materialistic, perhaps there are other things. I am gifted in mystic arts and can train you should you wish to grow your own personal powers. Or I can teach you to fend off corruptive energies as well. If neither of those sound interesting, perhaps an item from Symbaroum to aid you might find more fitting.
Well, I would think that would sound more than fair, would it not, Nrobso?
Well, I was told any items from the elves has a wondrous amount of power and protection in it. Is there something that a warrior such as myself, who does not dance with the mystic arts, could receive?
I believe we have quite the collection of ancient blades and armor pieces that may be suited to you.
Ah. Then Nrobso feels up to the task should the rest of the party members join in.
Laerke?
Do you happen to know anything about the Wrathguard?
I personally do not. However, I do have a contact in Karvosti. Is there something specific you seek?
A cure to the Wrathguard serums.
A way to combat your ways, which lead to a shorter lifespan.
Or, something that might just stretch it out. I know everybody's got to go sometime.
Certainly, but it is a shame that those who enter into such a profession have it cut down so significantly. I can do research.
May I
here.
ask?
Yes.
May I ask a question that might further our research on this matter? I heard some sort of myth about some perfect changeling that might have connections to Davokar. Have you ever heard of anything like that?
The only thing I've heard is another changeling called Odaka slaughtered the elves and was very much interested in another changeling that the elves had created. Though I never took part in those rituals myself, I'm sure I could seek more knowledge about these rituals, and I can look through our tomes and see if there's anything written about that day, as I know that there were some elven survivors who were there to witness it. I can try to contact them.
Thank you. Thank you very much, yes. That could be helpful. Any knowledge we can have about these links to Davokar, I think, would be useful.
Very well. So, an artifact, research into a cure, research of a day that a changeling was created, and she kind of looks towards Kovaan and Aggie, and I will give them their options as well and let them choose. Now, once you have taken care of the Ambrians and recovered the skull, I would suggest you take it to a witch called Gadramon. I had heard rumors from Anadia that he was on his way to the hold.
Yes,
We have an easy way.
You've met him. Excellent.
Yes, sir.
I would ask that you take the skull of Eox to him, for he can lead you to the home of Eox, as they were quite close.
Very well.
Yes.
One more question, Your Honor, Your Majesty. My friend Leggies here has really grown close to this majestic animal we have named Thundercat. What is to happen to this animal?
It is free to do as it wishes. It's welcome to roam our halls here. and make this place its own home if it wishes. For the creatures that learn the path and walk it, they are always welcome here.
Now, when you say creatures, is that specific to the cat or the goblin and company?
Well, as it stands, should you find yourselves successful with this task, we can discuss a pathway forward. As you all know, trust is something that is very much earned. And Tiara kind of looks towards the Ambrian in your party, in that of Aggie. I don't entirely distrust them, but there are many wonders that lie within these halls. And we are very peculiar and particular, rather, about who sees them and who has access to it all.
Of course.
But for now, you are welcome guests. Just know that once you leave, the pathways will once again dissipate and turn into something new. But should you have a proper creature, and she reaches into her pouch and pulls out a solid amount of those mushrooms that were used to give Thundercat the ability to come here, and she offers them out.
Nice.
What happens if a goblin eats one of these mushrooms? Not asking for myself, just in general.
Well, you are a creature of Davokar, born here. I would imagine you would be able to see the pathway.
I mean, yeah, not me, just in general. That's what I'm asking.
A goblin, I believe, would be able to see the pathway.
Alright.
Perfect.
Just know it may have different effects on you, as you're a bit more sentient.
No, not me.
Or
just
a goblin
in general.
Sure.
Yeah, in general.
Now, is there anything else?
No.
Would you be willing to potentially have one of these stones between us? To make giving you information along the way much easier, and you gave one to Nadia.
Yes. And the one carried by Nadia. If I can have that one back, I will open up a new one for you. I would just like something to remember her by.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And she will take the one from Anadia's body back, and she reaches into her pouch and whispers in Elvish some arcane incantations and offers it out. And what you see is almost a small orb, like about the size of a large marble, that appears to be solid gold.
Would you mind if I carried it? That way I can speak in Elvish, which might be a little coded when we give intel.
Whoever wishes to take it may take it.
As long as the party is okay with this.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'll take it.
Okay, you now have a message stone between yourself and Tiana.
How are we all feeling?
Well, I'm just more concerned of our next destination.
Yes, where are we headed next?
I believe, but Tierra, you're welcome to say otherwise. I believe we are going to be chasing down a certain, I think you said that he worked in the tannery, you said?
The cultist, led by an antique dealer named
Yes.
Erlibur, which I will send you the spelling on that name. And yes, it would seem Anadia had tracked them to the old tannery within the hold.
Okay. So we need to head back to. Wait, so we need to go back to Thistlehold? Because there's still all that stuff going on at Tower Gate. Where the tablet and the brothers are, right?
Correct. The brothers have headed towards Temple Wall. The tannery.
Temple Wall.
The tannery is in Thistlehold. And
Okay.
We could potentially split if we had to. If
Well-
we're very time constrained.
I think Thistlehold might be somewhat closer, so maybe we go there first. Yes.
We're speaking amongst ourselves, or are we?
Yeah.
Are we including? No. Okay. I just want to reinforce end of the world ending tablet. That's what that is, right?
And it sounds like there's the tablet has a prophecy about the end of the world, but it sounds like what's happening at Thistlehold might be the end of the world.
All right. Just weighing the options.
They're both not good. I understand. They're very grim, both.
Yeah. Well,
Where-
I'll follow wherever we decide we want to go. So, if we
Actually,
decide to continue along with this particular lead, then we should head back to Thistlehold.
there might be one more question I have for Tierra before we leave. There was a name on the tablet that I'm trying to remember. A name I didn't recognize, right? Maybe not.
the tablet itself was the prophecy of Sarkamel, if that's the
Yes, where night and day are without meaning, where darkness shimmers and light gathers in shadows, there stands the throne that again shall carry a mistress, a regent, a peer of the divine. I suppose there's nothing I can ask about that.
You can ask, yeah. You don't know what she'll be able to tell you, but you can certainly ask about it.
Maybe I should keep that to myself. We did say we would keep it to ourselves. Right, Nrobso?
Oh. Yeah.
I'm gonna look over at Thundercat. What is Thundercat doing?
Thundercat has disappeared into the hall somewhere. At this point, you're not sure where Thundercat went. Because Thundercat basically, once Nrobso pulled those curtains, Thundercat walked by, and that was the last you saw of Thundercat.
So Thundercat is choosing to remain?
Potentially.
Is that the impression I'm getting?
You're not certain. Thundercat is just nowhere to be seen currently.
Excuse me, do you know where our cat went?
Oh, the one that brought you here.
Yes.
There are open areas similar to the forests where it's probably roaming and finding comfort with the other creatures who have made their way here.
Do you think it wishes to remain here, or should we go see it?
Well, I cannot take you to it right now. Again, a trust must be earned.
Yes, of course.
But I can send somebody to look for it if you wish.
If you wouldn't mind, that would be wonderful.
Very well. And you see her kind of poke her head into the room where you saw the 15 elves take Lysindra and Mirel. And she speaks in Elvish, and just you overhear her say, the beast that brought them here, can you please go and find it? and one of the elves steps out and just nods. And you see him walk across the hallway through one of the other doorways, pulling back the vines and heading off.
And, should we leave to go back to Thistlehold, what happens to the other two people that were here with us? They, are leaving with us, yes?
Of course. I do not want either of them here.
Leggies, you're gonna have to break that news to them.
Oh, well, I don't think I'm allowed to move beyond this room, but if you would bring them back in, I would tell them that.
When you're ready to leave, we will bring them out.
I see.
And, this isn't one of those we can't tell them type of things, is it?
Lysindra already knows my feelings towards her and her ways.
Yeah.
I think perhaps Nrobso was talking about not telling them about Anadia and the skull and all of that.
Yeah, the information that you just told us.
Well, that would be entirely up to you. They could prove to be decent allies in a fight.
Yeah.
Again, I don't agree with how they operate. However, they are members of the Iron Pact.
Are you a member of the Iron Pact?
And Anadia kind of Tiara raises up her hand, and you do see an iron ring.
No, look.
Well, if you all prove successful in this journey, and should you wish to fully join, it's not out of the question.
Oh.
Having the ring does not fully make you a member of our pact.
Then I will be a part-time member until you feel I am worthy of said full-time position.
You are currently an individual with an iron ring.
I am a part-time Iron Pact member.
You are a goblin wearing a ring. Yes.
I am a heroic goblin wearing the part-time Iron Pact inscribed ring member.
And Tiara just kind of looks towards Yukine at this point, just like, and in Elvish, is he always like this?
He is, but Nrobso is a goblin of many positive qualities. So when he feels strongly about something, you learn that it's just an overflow of that passion that he puts into everything he does.
So long as he understands he has no real authority at this time in the name of the Iron Pact.
I will do everything in my power to guide him in this way, but Nrobso, by nature, is a creature of chaos, and sometimes I am surprised by the things Nrobso does.
I see. And
I will do my best.
And it's at this time the elven gentleman comes out from behind the vine curtains, and you see him carrying this very large mare cat in his arms. Is this the one?
I'm going to go up to Thundercat. Sort of show the collar and just sort of see how Thundercat is feeling. Does Thundercat want to stay? Does Thundercat want to come with us?
Thundercat just kind of sniffs the collar a little bit and just kind of looks at you.
I'm going to put my hand out to pet Thundercat.
You reach out, and the elf is currently holding Thundercat, and as you reach out to pet, you can tell Thundercat's demeanor has entirely changed in this area. It is significantly more relaxed and at peace.
So the general sense I'm getting is Thundercat loves being here.
It's you can tell that Thundercat, it's definitely more comfortable here compared to where it was.
Okay. Well. And Thundercat does, because we're not taking Thundercat at this point, but was Thundercat allow me to put the collar back on?
Yeah, if you want to try to put the collar back on with him holding Thundercat, there's no like resistance or anything. It just kind of you slip it over,
Come visit.
and it just kind of looks at you.
Would you mind putting down Thundercat? We would like to say our proper see you laters. For now, we will be back, of course, to see Thundercat in the future.
And the other man just sets Thundercat down on the ground, and Thundercat just kind of looks at you and just kind of walks in between all of your legs, between the entire group.
Very good. We will return and... I'm sorry?
It's my whole body. It's my whole body, by the way. And I give it a nice little hug.
Doesn't resist. It
Mission
doesn't
accomplished.
let out any type of aggression.
Yeah.
Laerke's just kind of standing there with her arms crossed like this. She just kind of like waves to the cat as it goes by.
And I'll lean down. I'll have a moment with Thundercat, exchange some elvish, pet Thundercat. But Thundercat is allowed to stay here if that is where Thundercat is most comfortable. We can come visit.
All right. And as you say your farewells to Thundercat, it kind of walks towards the vines that it came through and just kind of looks back at all of you once again before it's kind of pushing its little way through the vines and disappearing.
Thundercat is truly on the loose now, Nrobso.
Thunder, 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 cat.
Cat. Yes.
Alright, back to this hole where we may shed the blood of our enemies.
Is that the consensus
Very
for
well.
everybody?
Where are our elf friends, acquaintances, people we came with?
Oh, yes, I'll fetch them. She kind of just pulls back the curtain and just kind of gestures through. And the 15 elves come marching out with Lysindra and Miro.
Very well. Let's be on our way.
We head back to Thistlehold then, I suppose. We don't need the cat to show us the way out of Davokar.
There are other powers that can get you back to where you need to go.
Perfect.
Well, that's very ominous and
Yeah.
foreboding.
All right, let's go on then.
Okay. As you turn to leave, you hear Tiara say something in Elvish, and you look and you can see Ka Iroan kind of push one hand straight forward, and you hear him muttering this arcane incantation underneath his breath. And as you turn back to face the hallway that you had come through, you see a rift open, almost like reality splitting. And as you look through, you see Thistlehold
Whoa!
as he's just sitting there.
Now that is cool, Laerke says as she goes through the portal.
Laerke, you step through, and you are back on the edge of Davokar Forest. You look across the field and you see the large, familiar palisade of Thistlehold.
Nice.
What?
And Ka's holding
Well,
the
I can
portal
tell that
open.
I'm asking for powers. It's my gift in return.
Yeah, I hope when Kovaan wakes from his slumber, he just all of a sudden can just... Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Alright. Do you all follow through the portal?
Cool. All right. Let's go back to the cot. Let's go back to the wagon.
All right. You all step through. As you look back, you see the summer elves once again almost pushing Lysandra and Mirel through the portal. And as the two of them exit through, it seals back up. You look back and you just see that you're now standing between Thistlehold and the Davokar woods. With the intention to now head back to the cart to regroup, get whatever equipment you may need to head off on the next leg of your journey. That's where we'll go ahead and call it for today. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Super appreciate it. Thank you to my wonderful players as always. Before we go, let's go ahead and shout yourselves out where people can find you, all that fun stuff. Let's start off with Christine this time.
Oh, hey everybody, I'm Christine, or Slumber Jane across the internet. You can find me here on the Initiative Order. You can find me on Twitch/SlumberJane to enjoy my video gaming. You can find me on YouTube at Prepared Dice. And you can find me on a couple of other random channels scattered here and about, but mostly here. So thanks for hanging out today.
Woohoo! Let's throw it over to Kelsey, please.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here today. My name is Kelsey, and on social media, you can find me under Tombs and Tomes.
Perfect. Last but certainly not least, our lumberjack Gobbo, Lee Royal.
What up, everybody? I am Lee Royal on all social media at Royalty No Y. If you're looking for some cool reels, check me out on Instagram specifically.
Excellent. Thank you so much. As for myself, my name is Nate Ridenauer. I am your GM for Symbaroum. Mainly catching me here on the Initiative Order where I'm running this mostly. I do have another mini campaign that's going to be starting up next month. I'm going to run through some Fallout. Super excited for that. That will also be here on the Initiative Order. Aside from that, you can catch me lurking around our Discord, which, speaking of which, I will drop a link down in the chat for our Discord. Y'all should come join us. We run free-to-play community games every month, so you can meet new people, try out different TTRPG systems, and just have a good time. We also hold open calls for a lot of our streams, so if you're interested in potentially streaming with us and just checking it out and learning all the ins and outs, please come join us. It's a fantastic community full of so many wonderful folks. Aside from that, just some quick shout-outs also to our wonderful sponsors of the channel. Starting off with Session Zero Clothing. They create some really cool TTRPG-inspired streetwear. If you use code ORDER, you can get 15% off your purchase at checkout. Next up, we've got Norse Foundry, the creators of Artisan Stone and Metal Dice. If you use code TIO15 at checkout, you can get 15% off your purchase through them. And I'm going to take a moment to drop these down in the chat as well. I apologize, multitasking does not work for me. Next up, though, we've got another wonderful dice crafter with our friends over at Mithril Armory. If you use code INITIATIVE, you get 10% off your purchase through them. And last but certainly not least, our very own Terran, aka Valrook, aka Umbral Oculus Dice. If you use code INITIATIVE, you can get 10% off a full set of handmade dice through her store, Umbral Oculus, so check that out. Super beautiful dice. They suck for game masters, I'm going to tell you right now. They are cursed for GMs, but they are beautiful, and I highly recommend them. Aside from that, everybody, I think that is it. I hope that's it. Until next time, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, be kind to yourself, and we'll see you all in the next adventure. Have a great day.